Hello, guys. Hope you're doing well. This is TJ, and you're listening to Beyond the Ring podcast. And welcome to my special weekly episode where I relive the 80s classics. And this is Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling episode 4. And last week I had reviewed September 26, 1981 show, and this week we are going to have October 17th, 1981 show. So you would be kind of skeptical that I jumped over to 2 weeks because the WWE network, they don't have some shows that and I searched upon many other websites, but I didn't get the footage, I didn't get the episode. But I actually got a Mid Atlantic Gateway website where they actually covered the third 3rd October 1981 show. So I would run down that how what was the situation and what was the matches that were that time. And post that 10th October 1981, I didn't actually have any reviews or something. Episode was not there, and even any written kind of reviews were not there for October 10th, 1981 show. So I will be covering October 3rd, and we will running down what all happened on October 3rd, 1981, and then we'll get into the normal kind of discussion that we do for the October 17th episode of 1981 of Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling. So before we get into this discussion, please make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content like this. So without any further ado, let's get into this then. So the October 3, 1981 show. This show actually started off with Bob Caudle and David Crockett as always, and we actually saw a new NWA World Champion Ric Flair is here as they states, and we had an interview with Bob Caudle. Interview by being taken by Bob Caudle with Roddy Piper, and Piper interrupts and flips over a trash can on the podium and beats it like a drum to mock Wahoo McDaniel. So Piper and Wahoo McDaniel, they are having the situation because uh, uh, Piper actually had Abdullah the Butcher actually attacked Wahoo McDaniel on the word of Piper. So that's the rivalry storyline going on. So next we go to the match first. Then Sergeant Slaughter with someone unknown, and I think so it would be a squash match. But I didn't have any reviews. So this was the match first, but I didn't have any material that is written in this match first. And then we get to a commercial break, and then we get to another interview with the NWA World Champion Ric Flair. I mean, I'm very sorry that I am not able to see this. I mean, I was so excited that Ric Flair would be here this week. I was expecting 26 September show, but he was, and I was expecting next week would be, but the next week show I'm not able to see. If I find it anywhere, I would be doing the review. I would be doing down the line the missing show review. I would sure do it. But until then, we could be doing at this pace, as in how the episode we are getting from the WWE network. So Bob and David introduce the new NWA World Champion Ric Flair, and humble Flair says he will do his best to be a great world champion and a great athlete, he says. So kind of a baby face, I think so. And then we get to another commercial break, and then we get to the second match, which was Jay Youngblood and Wahoo McDaniel defeats Charlie Fulton and Jim Nelson. So Tommy Young is the referee for this match, and Cordell and Crockett talk about Piper mocking Wahoo earlier on. Offense is mainly working the arms and chops. Wahoo pins Nelson after a chop to the chest, and then we saw a local promotional advertisement, and then we saw to another commercial break, which was the which another commercial break. So the promotional spot was a voiceover announcer by Billy Powell talks about Monday night in the Greensville Memorial Auditorium, and newcomer Sergeant Slaughter will meet Sweet Ebony Diamond for the U.S. title, and Ivan Koloff versus Ricky Steamboat, Grappler versus Jake Roberts and Paul Jones, plus two other matches. So this was a local promotional advertisement they run about after the Jay Youngblood and Wahoo McDaniel tag team match. So then we get to another commercial break, and then we get to third match, which was between. This match was another tag team match between Super Destroyer and the Grappler, between Frank Monte and FI. CVFI, and they defeated Super Destroyer and Grappler, defeated Frank Monte and CVFI. They didn't have the tape. Introduction didn't have the tape misses the introduction actually, and Mont is holding his own. FI is wearing boots for the record. Destroyer finishes Mont with the superplex. So I know that I'm just having some short sentences right there about the match, because I'm just highlighting the review actually, what's being covered by the Mid Atlantic Gateway website. And then we get into the another commercial break, and then we get to interview with Bob Caudle, and this time it was Mahu McDaniel, and he says Ron Bass, Leroy Brown, Dusty Rhodes. Mahu says he's healed up, and Piper will find out. Bass is the TV champion. He tells the heels to watch out. Leroy Brown also warns the heels. Dusty is wearing matching vest and chaps, and he's dancing to music on his Walkman. He talks about Ivan Koloff. He's glad for Ric Flair, but they will meet again, as they say. And Caudle introduces the next match, and this was after this match it was commercial break, and then we get to the fourth match, which was between Dusty Rhodes and Ricky Harris. So Dusty Rhodes defeated Ricky Harris. So mostly it was Dusty, as they say in a short match, wins with an elbow drop. And then we go to another local promo advertisement. So where we saw next week on WFBC TV at Hendersonville, North Carolina, the Russians Leroy Brown, Ron Bass, Austin Idol, Paul Jones, and more in Marion, North Carolina at the East McDowell Jr. So I'm just reading about it. Kent Conrad talks with Flair, and Weaver says he will do it my way. And Ricky Steamboat joins Landrum. He takes on Ivan Koloff for the Mid-Atlantic title. He said Koloff made a mistake, so to put the title on the line, he will be getting the beating of his life. So they are doing it this because they're superstars. This was the territory time, so the superstars were going to other promotions and other territories as well to defend their titles. So that was the time that was the time where this was happening. So then we get to the fifth match, which was between Roddy Piper and Ivan Koloff versus Steve Muslin and Ron Ritchie. And Roddy Piper and Ivan Koloff actually defeat Steve Muslin and Ron Ritchie. Piper plays what he calls a funeral song for Mahu on his bagpipes, and the fans boo. The babyface seem to hold their own. Ole Anderson wanders out, but Koloff is too much. He finishes Muslin with a falling knee to the back of the head, his finisher from the top rope that we have discussed upon for the pin. Piper and Koloff continue to work on Muslin after the match. Wahoo comes in to make the save. He knocks Koloff out of the ring. Chop fest won by Wahoo. Postman Steamboat also comes into even the numbers. So I pretty much can expect what's going on. So babyface versus heel, that's going on. So then we get as they close the show, they have the final interview always, and this was with Ricky Steamboat and Jake Roberts, the faces. And Steamboat talks about Piper running. Roberts says things are going to change, and the faces are trying to control the heels, and just to shut up the heels. And that was it. This was the October 3rd, 1981 show of Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling. So now we get into the October 17th show, which I watched upon on the WWE Network. Thankfully, this show was there. And October 10th, 1981 show, I didn't get upon any written material or any footage or something. So I'm sorry about that. So if and when I would get that, I would surely do the missing show reviews. So next, let's get into the October 17th, 1981 show of Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling. And this was, as always, taped at WPCQ TV studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Bob Caudle and David Crockett, as always, are on commentary. And Jake the Snake Roberts, and Jay Youngblood interviews being taken, talking about they want a shot at the World Tag Team titles, because it's been 90 days since yeah, they said that it's made 59 or 60 days since the tag team division has not been defended. And he wants to prove he can beat loudmouth Roddy Piper. Piper comes out, and then he confronts Youngblood and insults him and says he already beat one Indian, Wahoo McDaniel. And Youngblood tells him that he's proven himself, and Piper tells, if you have the guts, get into the ring. They should have a death match or so to settle everything once and for all. And David Crockett says, you are not the one who's decided here. And it's also finalized that it's a 10-minute match that has already been signed, and tells him to prepare for his match. This was a great segment. Youngblood tells, so because they were having the match down the line in the show, Youngblood versus Piper. So that I was very excited to see this match. Youngblood tells Piper that he can't mess with anyone, and they then air a very long kind of pretty long, you could say, air a handsome Jimmy Wellen music video, but. Uh, the music that they use with the WWE Network music, they, because of the copyright issues. So then we get to the match of Jimmy Valiant versus Jim Nelson. This was a squash match. Jimmy Valiant is making his debut, kind of, I think so. And this was just business for Jimmy Valiant. He lands a big punch at Nelson, and Nelson was trying to hit him as well with gets a few forearms on Valiant, but Valiant reverses a whip onto the corner, and tosses him into across the ring. So Jimmy Valiant was the guy here, and Valiant actually follows with an elbow drop for the pin at the end. So Jimmy Valiant, nothing too much say about it. So just so we see 1 to 2 or even 3 squash matches in this kind of episode and I actually read about that. So that's what is happening. So Jimmy Valiant actually won this match, and then we get to the match, Jay Youngblood versus Roddy Piper. So I felt upon this would be main event, but it was pretty quick. Jay Youngblood versus Roddy Piper. This was a great match. I mean, this was a match of the night. And Roddy Piper tells the announcers that he will play the bagpipes after the victory. Cordell talks about Piper bringing Abdullah the Butcher to eliminate Wahoo McDaniel and all. And Piper and Youngblood in the initial minutes, exchange hard chops. Piper with the takedown as well on Youngblood, but he can't keep a hold of him, and Youngblood reverses. So Youngblood has that fighting spirit, and his chops are so loud, man, and it's so nasty, man. I mean, I can't I can't like to say about that. I can't lose to say about this thing that his chops are one of the best, and Piper tries to escape Jay's grasp. He grabs hold of Youngblood. So Jay Youngblood was having that fighting spirit, having that speed and quickness ability on Roddy Piper, and Roddy Piper was trying to get that advantage on Jay Youngblood, but finally he got that. Finally had the grasp. He actually focused on the lower back, and he grabs hold of Youngblood's hair, but Jay tosses Piper out of the ring. At a point, Piper calls for a timeout, and Bob Caudle says that you're in a wrestling match doesn't have a timeout. And he gets back in the ring. Test of strength. We saw Piper taking Jay down with on his wrist control. Crowd cheers for Jay Youngblood. He gets up, and the crowd was very into this match. And how would they not be in this match? That was the match, and that was the feeling and the temperature of this match. Piper gets in a few forearms on Youngblood. Jay gets him in the corner, gives him a hard chop to the chest, and that just kind of. Kind of exploded the sound into my ear. And Piper goes back to the outside, holds his chest, and then we got Piper complains to the referee, he chopped my chest, and announcers actually say that he was insisting to have a death match, and now he's complaining about a chop. And hammerlock by Piper, but Youngblood reverses and takes down Piper. A leg drop on Piper's leg. Piper again rolls to the outside. Then, so the story was, as I said, Youngblood was over and over again trying to control. There was a control Piper, and there was a point where they were having a very good mat-based kind of exchange, kind of who would be controlling the who on the top of each, and finally Youngblood actually controlled him, and he actually leg drop onto the calf region of Piper, and he gets out of, and he gets Piper again, says to the referee, "Are you blind? He just leg drop to my. I mean, that's legal, man. You are in a less wrestling match. You are not in a boxing match." He gets back to the ring, and he takes Youngblood down with a shoulder block and gets a toe down. This was a very good match. This wasn't felt like a long match, but if it was long or something, I would have watched for so many minutes. I mean, this was a very good match, and in the end we saw Piper get slammed into the turnbuckle. Piper gets a thump onto Jay's throat. So Piper was having that heelish kind of thing that refs behind. Ref was differentiated. Youngblood gets slammed, and Piper lands an elbow on him. So Piper was getting the offense on Youngblood now. At this point, he gets a 2 count, and Piper is able to get Youngblood in the sleeper hold. And Jay Youngblood was eventually he was passed out. Just a moment, ref actually. Just a moment, ref didn't called that result, and Piper with a suplex on Youngblood, but Piper hits his head on the mat. Both men are now down. Youngblood goes for the cover. So the drama and the selling was great here. They continue to fight and go each other's side. Hard chops were exchanged. Small package by Youngblood. So at the so that urgency was coming because this was a 10 minutes time limit match. So and also so they're telling just 30 seconds left, and Bob Gordon says, and 30 seconds is way past, kind of 1 minute or something, 2 minutes or something, and just not over. And after a point, Bob Gordon says, I think so. The timer is it's not 30 seconds because we are way past at that, and I think it was mere seconds left. And Piper goes for the pin on Youngblood with 30 seconds left in match. Youngblood clicks out again, and the end match ends in a draw. And the end they headbutt each other, knock each other out. Bob Caudle mentions they might have been off a few seconds. The bell rings as a 10-minute time limit expired. Great match. Enjoyed this match. Enjoyed the intensity that Jay Youngblood has. Enjoyed the character work and the heelish tactics and all the things that Roddy Piper bring about, including his build-up promo that he had beginning the show. That was a great addition to the story of this match. The match ends in a draw, but Piper decides to attack quite brutally, I would say, quite brutally. Youngblood, no one comes. He punches Jay and beats him on. Referees try to keep away. No one comes actually. Black winner, no winner. It's a draw match, and then we get to a segment. This was a local promotional segment. Black Mac Mulligan Jr., Barry Windham, Paul Jones, and Johnny Weaver do promos with Les Thatcher. Mulligan Jr., I don't even know who these guys are. I mean, talks about, I know Kevin Sullivan. Weaver and John, I have seen him in WCW. Weaver and Jones talk about Markov and Volkov. So who are these guys? And then we get a new debut as well. The Kabuki. He had a he had a he had a prolonged introduction and the preparation for this match more than the match length, because his opponent was kind of a squash match that was coming. Charlie Fuller, Kabuki's mid-athletic TV debut, and Cordell and Crockett actually wonder and makes fun about Kabuki carrying a Japanese sword to the ring. Fans can be heard joking a bit. Kabuki wears a headband covering his face as he prepares for the match, and nothing much to say about it. Was all the Kabuki knocks Fuller down with a short chop. Charlie Fuller didn't get a single offense. He ducks from Fuller's reach and gets in a spin kick. More chops thrown by Kabuki, and he pins Fuller. The Kabuki gets a win. So announcers then referred him to as the Ninja, as the Great Kabuki, and as the Kabuki. In a later episode, they were changing this name, as I read about in the review, that it is the ninja who would gain fame as Mr. Pogo. So that's a very very different name, Mr. Ninja at a point, and then changing into the Pogo. I mean, yeah, funny. So then we get to Wahoo McDaniel being interviewed by Bob Caudle, and he asks Wahoo what they have to do to get rid of Piper and all. And Wahoo says he doesn't like Piper. He says Piper can bring in whatever he wants, but he being this long and Piper can't get rid of him. Wahoo says if Piper stays long, he probably won't be weighing 190 pounds, because he would be taking him out piece by piece by piece, and when he's done with him. Jake the Snake Roberts then come right after that, and he joins Bob Caudle and praises Jay Youngblood for the match that he put upon against Roddy Piper, for his match with Piper, and he talks about Ole Anderson as well, and Ole Anderson actually also said about his explanation as well of not because of not defending the tag team. So I think so the Andersons are the tag team champions. So his partner is not there, so that's why. So Bob Caudle says, "Is that a kind of an excuse that you're saying?" I'm not kind of saying an excuse, but it is what it is, as he says. And we are out of time. We are going to the next match, which was between Leroy Brown and Jake Roberts versus Ricky Harris and Ali Bay. So the story of this match. The cohesion was the element of this match, because Leroy Brown and Jake Roberts had so much of cohesion. They had the match in September 26th edition of the show. I didn't think about that was they had a good chemistry, but they had improved upon the chemistry. I mean, after 2 weeks or something, I mean, they had great chemistry, and they are really. Jake Roberts, on the one hand, he's a great mat based wrestler. He takes out the legs, and he was taking out the legs of Ricky Harris and Ali Bay, and they were getting the tag, but still they were the Leroy Braun and Jake Roberts cohesion and their chemistry was being displayed here. And Jake Roberts was getting into the leg and taking down the leg, while Leroy Braun was having the power advantage. Ricky Harris and Ali Bay, they were also having the power, but Leroy Braun was the biggest guy here, and Leroy Braun also had that splash on the leg region of Ali Bay, I guess. Yeah, Harris left leg actually. Ricky Harris left leg actually, not Ali Bay. So this was a good match. At a point we saw Ali Bay beats on Roberts. He gets him a chin lock and drives him over to Harris, who stomps on Roberts. So some offense were getting for Ricky Harris and Ali Bay, but Roberts is able to escape and tag in Leroy Brown. Brown knocks Harris out of the ring and then headbutts Ali Bay. Brown beats on Harris and then body slams him, and he hits him with a big splash for the pin. And the winners are Leroy Brown and Jake Roberts. So this was the match, and a very good match, very good tag team match. More cohesion, more chemistry that was good to see between Leroy Brown and Jake Roberts. I loved this match. So then we get to the next promo segment, which was featuring Kevin Sullivan, Lord Alfred Hayes, Chris Markoff, and Nikolai Volkov. As I said, I don't know who these guys are. Sullivan says Blackjack Mulligan Jr. has more talent than any kid that he's seen, but he's going to end him. Lord Alfred Hayes cut a great promo about where he could have been instead of Ronceverte, West Virginia. So this is not the situation that's going to play out in the Mid-Atlantic scenario. This is just a other show that's being promoted. So I mean, maybe these guys are in the contract with the with the Mid Atlantic. That's why, because these are the territory days. So I'm understanding the territory days. Like kind of I'm understanding, and not a very much. Don't know about that thing. So maybe I will be understanding, watching every week. So. Then we get to the next match. This was also the squash match. Sergeant Slaughter vs Frank Motte. Sergeant Slaughter is a new NWA US Heavyweight Champion, and I don't know who he defeated. I think so. It was in the show. They had, as I said, they had a promotional segment, so that they said that they had a. Uh, I'm finding that, but I'm not getting that. So still, so the Sergeant Slaughter is a new NWA US Heavyweight Champion. He gets in, and it was all of Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter, few knees, and Sergeant into the midsection. Sergeant Slaughter keeps laying on Monday, and there was a hard chop, and so Sergeant Slaughter slams Monday a few times and drops him a few times over, and Slaughter is able to stop him and whips him into the ropes and gets him with a clothesline, and a very nasty clothesline, take his head off kind of clothesline. Sergeant Slaughter gets Monte in the Cobra Clutch and gets a win. So Sergeant Slaughter, a post match, nothing to say about this match. It was a squash match. Sergeant Slaughter joins Bob Caudle for an interview. He talks about winning the US title and said what he was going to do. He says he's going to win every match he's in, and he wants everyone to show and to stand at attention. He insults Leroy Braun and Ric Flair, and Ivan Koloff talks about it not being over with Ricky Steamboat, and he says it won't be over until one of them is either out of the territory or out of wrestling. And Ole Anderson joins then after Sergeant Slaughter, and he joins Ivan Koloff and says he can't defend the World Tag Team titles right now because so Ole Anderson and Ivan Koloff are the World Tag Team champions, World Tag Team title they have. So because he's alone right now, he says when the time comes they will defend the tag team titles, as they says. So good promo by Sergeant Slaughter as well as Ivan Koloff there. So this, as always, this was the ending of the episode. So this was a really good episode, not like the September 26th episode, but still this was a good episode. We saw a very good match, a great match of the night, Roddy Piper versus Jay Youngblood. Apart from that, we also saw that Leroy Braun and Leroy Braun tag team match, Jake Roberts match, that was good as well. So nothing much to complain about. This was a good show as well, a good show as well. So if you have watched this episode, please make sure to get your thoughts in the comment section below, and support my video, guys. Like my videos. I want your support and motivation, and that brings me to have some new series and some new discussion as well. So please support your boy. So that's it. Be safe, stay energetic, and I'll see you guys in the next one, guys. Peace.